my friends. A few days ago, I uploaded my worst candles of 2024. However, I think we should end the year on a positive note. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the top 20 candles that I tried in 2024. Now, that's a key component there because as a reviewer and just as somebody who loves home fragrance in general, there are fragrances that I will repurchase year in, year out over the last several years because I love them. But to make this list for this video, these were candles that I had to have tried for the first time in 2024. A lot of these were marketed as new fragrances, but every once in a while, if you happen to have caught the worst videos one, you will see that I try a candle that has maybe been out before, but for whatever reason, I have never purchased it. And then sometimes that opens up the door for it to either make the best or the worst list, or sometimes it just falls somewhere in between. So if you find yourself enjoying this video, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you want to stick around for more candle content, fun videos like this, hauls, empties, dedicated reviews. Please consider hitting the subscribe button to my channel. And as I mentioned in the video for the worst one, I feel like I don't really have to give this caveat as much because this is a positive video, right? Worst usually means negative. This is a more positive light. But as always, this is just one girl on the internet's personal opinion about home fragrance. We all know that we have different preferences. And like I mentioned, videos like this can actually be helpful, especially if you have found, if you followed my content for any length of time, you may have established that we have similar preferences, or you may just say, nah, she likes different things than me. And that could be just as helpful too. You might say like, yeah, we have different preferences. So if she really likes something, I might not. But also if we share similar ones, you might say, well, she liked it, I should probably give it a try. So I'm always striving to help you out in your purchasing power. But let's not waste any more time. As always, all of the fragrances that I talk about today will be listed and linked down below, as well as with this video. I forgot to mention it in the other one. If I do have dedicated post-burn reviews, I will make sure that those are linked down in the description box for you as well. Any kind of affiliate discount codes can also be found down there. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get into this because I've got 20 great candles to talk about. Coming in at number 20, I don't have a backup of this in my collection. And the reason why it is coming in at number 20 is because I wanted the performance of this candle to be better. I wanted it to be stronger. Regardless, I did purchase two of them in 2024, and it is a Bath & Body Works candle, Daffodil Daydreams. It was also had the beautiful packaging that said Happy Easter. It kind of had that like mint green lid, and you got flowers and bunnies and all of the cute things going on with that fragrance. That I loved because it was it was a marshmallow fragrance, but there was a little hint of like floral to it. It was a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. It would have been higher up on my list had it been a little bit stronger for me. Unfortunately, the fragrance, I remember that one, while I loved it, the performance, I wanted more. It did not have good strength or throw. I did usually have to burn it in my master bedroom, but the fragrance itself was stunning. And I do hope that they bring that fragrance back for the spring. Honestly, you guys, I have not been following all of the previews for spring. I know that there's some other creators who are really good about that. In fact, my friend Eric over at Eric & Company too. And I know Bonnie, Queen of the Girl Geeks, both of them are really good about giving some updates on Bath & Body Works content, or not content, Bath & Body Works. They focus a lot more on Bath & Body Works in their content, but they're really good about giving some updates and previews for what is to come. But I do hope that the Daffodil Daydreams does make a comeback this year because that was a really nice fragrance. Coming in at number 19, I actually have it right here in front of me. And this I actually just showed in my most, no, not my most recent haul, but I did talk about this candle recently. This is the Luxe Woodside Holiday Traditions? I think that's what it's called. Yes, Woodside Holiday Traditions. This was part of the Elton John and Slatkin & Co. collaboration. And the reason why this is coming in at number 19 is because this, to my nose, is a Nest Holiday dupe. It smells like Nest Holiday, except I got it for like $60 and I have 50 ounces of wax, and Nest Holiday, I could get one single wick for $50. So this was a huge win for me. Now I will take the lid off on this and give you guys an update. Now the only thing with this is that the wicks do get a little bit long and I do have to trim them. but I'm loving this fragrance, you guys. This is so perfect for this time of year. And I am very happy to have it in this larger vessel because this is one that obviously I don't think I'm going to get through this holiday season. I'm a very seasonal burner, but it is one that I will be able to go ahead and put back into my closet and then bring out again next year. And I do like that the vessel, I can go ahead and repurpose it. Coming in at number 18 is another Bath & Body Works candle that I don't have in my backup stash. Again, it's another fragrance that I hope that they bring back, but it was Vanilla Coconut Surf. That was a candle that I think I purchased last January, and I really liked it. It was kind of a musky coconut type of fragrance, not overly sweet, but it smelled more, I would say, like more authentic coconut. In fact, now that I think about it, I think the new Sunny Coconut has some elements. It smells like the base of what was in Vanilla Coconut Surf. I think Vanilla Coconut Surf was slightly more musky to my nose. It was a little bit different than the Santorini Coast, but kind of in that realm. So I'm hoping that they would bring that candle back. I'm sure if they don't bring it back saying Vanilla Coconut Surf, they might repackage it. But I did really enjoy that fragrance in the summertime. I found it to be a great blending candle because it enhanced a lot of other summer fragrances that I was already burning. Another Bath & Body Works candle is coming in at number 17. And if you caught my Candle Day haul or if you've seen my more recent videos, this is a fragrance that I was really, it wasn't even on my radar, but when I went in store on Candle Day, I picked it up, I sniffed it, and I loved it. So this is Evergreen and Fir. I actually already finished burning through this candle. It is an empty. For me, you'll see it in my empties. The reason why this candle, whoa, let's not throw it. Not be good. The reason why this candle is not higher up on the list, despite me loving the fragrance, is that the performance on this really dropped off after the halfway mark. It burned hot, it burned fast. The first few burns, I got pretty good strength and throw. I would give it maybe like around a 7, but I would say that the performance dropped off significantly after the second half of the burn, which is what made it drop down my rankings a little bit more. However, if I see this candle on a pretty decent sale during SAS, I could see myself buying a backup of it because I did really enjoy this fragrance. It's a great tree scent. It's definitely more fir. You get some cedar wood, and there's a slight hint of sappiness to this fragrance that I just really love. So I could see myself wanting 1 or 2 backups of this for the next holiday season. I'm trying to, play my candle Tetris game here. Coming in at number 16 was a HOMEWORX fragrance, Pumpkin Cold Brew. I did end up going through 2 of those candles this year, and I loved that scent. It was pumpkin. The coffee note was definitely more like a cold brew. There was a little bit of creaminess to it. I got some spice in there. I just loved that fragrance. There was something about it that I couldn't put my finger on that reminded me of a fragrance that my mom burned from Yankee way back in like the early 2000s. I don't know exactly what fragrance that would have been, but there was a warmth and coziness to it that I felt like that fragrance could actually carry through going into the winter months as well. It was just the espresso note in there, or the coffee note, was not overly dominant coffee. The blending with the pumpkin was just beautiful. It had kind of like a creamy smell to me. I loved it. Now, the reason why, again, it's ranked a little bit lower on this favorites list is because both of the candles that I had this year did not have great performance once I hit the halfway mark. They got puny wicks, had a very hard time staying lit. It was so frustrating and such a bummer because otherwise, had I gotten good performance from that, from beginning to end, I would have bought another backup of it. I do hope that the fragrance makes its way back next year and I would repurchase it. But unfortunately for this year, the performance just wasn't good enough to get backups of it. Coming in at number 15 is a candle that I initially received in PR in the large 2-wick format. I went through an entire one and then I decided to purchase a backup of it. However, I purchased the backup in the 3-wick format. This would be KRINGLE Candles Warm and Toasty. So I still have it here in my collection. I haven't finished burning through this one. Fragrance notes here are cedar, smoke, sweet, marshmallow, amber, sugar. This I said was the sophisticated older sister to Bath & Body Works Marshmallow Fireside. I get more amber in this note, in this fragrance. The marshmallow is in the middle. You do get the sweetness of marshmallow, and it's not super smoky to my nose. I would say that the note that really comes through and elevates this fragrance over Marshmallow Fireside is the amber note in here. I love this fragrance. It's so good. It pairs really, really nicely with a lot of other candles that I like to burn in the evening. You'll see some of them coming up here, but this was just such a good fragrance. This is one that I do plan to continue to burn throughout the winter time. I'm still full on in my Christmas mode. In fact, well, I'm planning to upload this video after Christmas, but I'm trying to finish burning my very distinct, these are my December Christmas fragrances. But once I put those away, this is going to be like my evening, one of the candles I'm going to have in my evening burn rotation going through the winter months. Coming in at number 14 is a HOMEWORX candle that I am actually kicking myself that I did not buy a backup of this one. I don't know why I didn't. I think I go through these phases where I'm like, my candle collection is getting too big. I don't need backups. But then, a few months later, sometimes I think like, maybe I should have gotten one more of those. And with this HOMEWORX candle, that's the case that I'm finding myself in. It was the fragrance Santorini. This was part of the Postcards from Harry collection that was launched in the early summer. And that fragrance was my favorite from that collection. It was very sophisticated. It made me think of like what a Mediterranean vacation would be, which truthfully, you guys, I've never been to Europe. That is on my list of things to do within the next couple of years. But yeah, it had a picture of like a sailboat with this beautiful, like purple and pink background, like sunset. It just was stunning. And there was something about it that was beachy, but not in your typical beachy fragrance. It did remind me of like what I would envision. It gave me the vibe of like being on a sailboat all day. It was hard to describe. I did do a dedicated review. I think I did do a dedicated review on that candle. I just remembered loving it a whole lot, and I wish that I would have gotten a backup of it because it was sophisticated beachside vacation without it being coconut sunscreen, pina colada. It was just a very sophisticated take. And that whole collection, by the way, was done very, very well. But yeah, I'm kind of wishing I would have gotten a backup of that. Another fragrance that I purchased from the KRINGLE Halloween collection. This was a new fragrance. In fact, is it two? I think I have two candles from KRINGLE's Halloween, which is almost a little bit ironic because you guys know my feelings about Halloween. It's not a holiday that I really embrace. And therefore, I passed up the opportunity to receive PR from KRINGLE for that launch this year. I told them, I said, if I'm interested in anything, I will buy, which I did. And this was one of the candles that I did purchase from the Halloween collection. This is Haunted Hallows. Fragrance notes on here are wood smoke, fir, herbal, apple, patchouli, and musk. And this fragrance, I loved it. I really, really enjoy this. In fact, I'm almost at the halfway mark. And truthfully, I actually am contemplating bringing this one back out. I'll probably just turn the label around and just have it, the black vessel on display. But I actually think that this would be a wonderful pairing with it's the new candle from the Winter Flight collection. It is, what is it? Winter, Tranquil Winter. That's what it is. Tranquil Winter. That, if you have this candle and you have that one, let's try combining them because I think that they have some similar fragrance notes that they are going to complement each other well. The winter one is more, it definitely has more of a winter vibe. This has, it's the wood smoke note in here that makes this a little bit different, but you do smell the fir tree. And I think that it would just be a wonderful combination. So I did put this candle away after Halloween because I did think like I might want to burn this more in the winter time. But if anything, I do want to hold on to it to maybe do post-burn reviews because Mick, if you happen to be watching this, please bring this fragrance back for Halloween 2025 because this is a really, really good fragrance. I know that it was one of the first ones I think to sell out this year, but really, really well done fragrance. So I enjoyed that one. Another fragrance with the word haunted in it that is coming in at number 12 is HOMEWORX Haunted Apple Nights. Now, truthfully, you guys, I actually think that fragrance was pretty close to a repackage of Golden Harvest from HOMEWORX, which those fragrances in and of themselves are a take on what I personally think that they are a take on Bath and Body Works Leaves. So if you like that fragrance, you would have liked Haunted Apple Nights, you would have liked Golden Harvest from a couple of years ago. However, I will say that it is a slightly more, I want to say toned down version of Leaves, because Leaves is a very in your face type of fragrance. Whereas I felt like Haunted Apple Nights, it reminded me of Leaves, but it wasn't, I think the eucalyptus note was maybe tamed down a little bit in there. It was not as strong. In fact, I don't even remember if it had a eucalyptus note listed in there, but there was something about it that it just was not as bold and in your face, but still very, very pleasant. That candle performed very well for me. I do recall seeing in the HOMEWORX Facebook group that there were some people that were not getting good performance, but in my home, that candle was throwing close to a 9 in terms of strength and throw. And I did purchase that candle twice, and both of them, like both times, it performed very, very well for me. So that candle was a winner for me. A new brand that I tried out within the last few months, has had a couple of candles make this top 20 list for me. This is an independent brand out of Georgia. This is from the brand Caramel Sundays. And coming in at number 11 is the fragrance Toasted Pinecone. Now, if I look here, I think I have the fragrance notes listed somewhere back here. Let me see. Toasted Pinecone. Yes. Top notes of pine and vanilla, mid notes of sandalwood, base notes of crisp outdoors and ozone. I have been loving this fragrance. Currently, I'm really enjoying pairing it with Kringle Candles Christmas. But this is a fragrance that's very versatile in the winter months. It's no longer available. I do hope that it makes a return next year. I do know that John and Sierra, the owners, said that this was one of their top recommendations when people were asking, like, what would you recommend? Like, what are your favorites? And they said it was this one, as well as the truffle butter cookie. But this fragrance just blends really nicely. You get that kind of like pine cone note, without it being too piney. It's kind of woody. There's a little bit of a toasted element to this without it being bonfire or fire like smoke type of scent. It's just really well done. You get some of that outdoor air, little bit of sweetness of vanilla in here. It's a really, really well done candle, and it's one of my favorites. It is a candle that I hope that they bring back, and because I would repurchase it. It's a really good fragrance. Coming in at number 10 is a candle that I actually have on its way to me. I did decide to go ahead and purchase a backup because I just happened to randomly be scrolling over on Kringle one day. That always gets us into trouble, doesn't it, you guys, when we like, let me just go check out the website. Next thing you know, purchase. So I actually purchased a backup of the Kringle Candle Reserve Orange fragrance. That was a candle that I received, or no, I purchased it earlier this year. I want to say that came out maybe around April, May, somewhere around that time point. And honestly, the reason why I have decided to repurchase is because it is truly just a good, authentic orange candle. There's no herbal notes added to it. There's no vanilla creaminess added to it. It is just a good, solid orange fragrance that you can combine with a lot of other candles. It's a good, juicy summer orange. It's not a winter orange to my nose. Winter orange fragrances tend to have maybe some pine or clove or cinnamon, some type of spice mixed with it. But this is just a straight up, if you want just a good, juicy orange fragrance, you should go for the Reserve Orange candle. And the reason why I bought it was because I noticed the other day that it was on sale. I don't know if that's still going on. I don't know what sales are going to be running. Like I said, I'm pre-filming this a little bit and planning to upload it after Christmas. But it was on sale for like $26. So I was like, I'm going to go ahead. Was it 26 or 21? It was on sale. So I was like, I'm going to go ahead and purchase it. So the Reserve Orange candle is on its way to me, and I am very happy to have a backup of it. Coming in at number 9 is another Caramel Sundays fragrance, but I am actually burning it at the time that I'm filming it, at the time that I'm filming this video, but it would be the Perfect Christmas. Now, a lot of you guys are like, but Katie, you don't necessarily love the Perfect Christmas from Bath and Body Works. That's a half truth. I do like the fragrance, the Perfect Christmas from Bath and Body Works. However, when I have burned that candle in the past, it has given me a headache because it is so intense, like pine intense heavy, with a mix of that like marshmallow in the background, that I found it to be a little bit too much. Now, truth be told, I have had a couple of friends purchased the Bath and Body Works version this year, and it hasn't given me a headache. I've like walked into their house and I'm like, oh, you're burning the perfect Christmas, and it wasn't too intense. So maybe that's because Bath and Body Works, a lot of their fragrances have kind of not been as strong. But regardless, I do like that fragrance. However, I like the way Caramel Sundays does it a little bit better, because in their version, the fragrance notes are top notes of fresh pine needles, mid notes of sweet cinnamon sugar, base note of roasted marshmallow, and caramel. I don't really get any caramel in there, but the pine note in The Perfect Christmas is not as piney and maybe not as bold and in your face. I do detect it, but I do smell a little bit more of that vanilla sugar hint, like tiniest hint of cinnamon, not a whole lot, very, very soft cinnamon scent, but it's more marshmallow, vanilla, sugar type of component with the pine in the background. And I think that's why I enjoy it a little bit more than the Bath and Body Works version, which is reversed to me. Their version is a little bit more pine heavy with the marshmallow in the background. But regardless, that is my number 9 favorite candle of the year. Coming in at number 8, y'all know I love my boozy fragrances. Coming in at number 8 is a Kringle Reserve. This is smoke and oak. Fragrance notes on this candle are smoke, wood, bourbon, leather, amber, fruit. If you've been with my channel any length of time, none of you are surprised to see this one making the list. I did make sure to purchase a backup of this. This smells very much like a sophisticated, this smells like a sophisticated gentleman, like what I imagine James Bond would smell like. If you happen to like HOMEWORX' Black Tie, it's not the same fragrance, but in that same vein. Kind of, I want to say it's boozy. There's a boozy element to it, but it's like a bourbon, like a sweet booze. There is smokiness to it, but it's not quite like, it's a little bit more, I would say like, not tobacco smoke in terms of like cigarette smoke, but more like pipe tobacco, which I kind of like that scent. I find it to be just a very masculine, like traditionally masculine scent. I honestly, if I came across a man that smelled like this, I would be like, hello. Hello there. Oh, I just love it. There's something about this that just smells so masculine, but sophisticated. And I know we're not supposed to attribute things as being masculine or feminine, but most of us, we know what we're in the fragrances, in the fragrance community. I always say this, you can burn whatever you want, but I think there are fragrances that, like, if I use that word, you guys can kind of know where I'm going with that description. Yeah, you get some vanilla in there, you get the bourbon, a little bit of leather, and the amber in here makes it kind of perfumey, but I don't really smell amber front and center. Oh, that one is so good. So I have still half of this one, and then I have a backup of it. The first one I do believe I was sent in PR, but I did go ahead and repurchase a backup. In that same vein is another Halloween fragrance that you guys know I went on and on about this one. This is another one, Mick, please bring it back for Halloween 2025 because I think it was pretty popular. This is Skull and Sonnet. Fragrance notes on this candle are bourbon, tobacco, sandalwood, suede, amber, and oak. So this fragrance, actually, I like burning this fragrance with the smoke and oak. I think that they are a wonderful, it gives me like very sophisticated library, dark academia vibes in, I don't know, it like maybe almost like not a hunting lodge. It's more like sophisticated than that, I would say. Hunting lodge, I think of like Beauty and the Beast, like Gaston. That's not what this smells like to me. I think of like a bunch of like mahogany lined cabinets. I think of like a fancy bar with like all of the various drinks. People being like very like poshly dressed. That's what these two candles combined really remind me of. Now, this I have said reminds me of one of my favorite fragrances that was made by Maison Margiela Replica. It was called Whispers in the Library. That's what this fragrance reminds me a lot of. Now, this to me is a little bit more, it's not as deep, I would say, as Smoke and Oak. This one also had a little bit lighter performance, especially the first couple of burns on this candle. It wasn't as good of a thrower, I would say. But oh man, I love this one. I think, did I do a post-burn review on this? I'm not sure if I did. But I've raved enough about it in a lot of my candle chats. Yeah, this one, I feel like the bourbon is stronger in the smoke and oak one. I do smell tobacco and suede in this candle a little bit more. Whereas that one's more like bourbon, tobacco, pipe tobacco, a little bit smokier. This one does not have a smoky element to it. You get amber. It's just so good. So I do have two more of these in my collection. I'm not letting go of them because I need that one to come back so I can get more. Coming in at number 6 is another Caramel Sundays fragrance. You guys, this is a brand that I just discovered a couple of months ago, and they had 3 fragrances make my top 20. This is the fragrance Pistachio Cranberry. Now, I can't remember if I wrote down the fragrance notes in my handy dandy notebook here. I can look back here. Let me see if I did. I'm not sure if I have them. I don't think I do right now. No, I don't, which is, oh wait, yes I do. Yay, I found it. Okay, Pistachio Cranberry has top notes of sweet cranberry, mid notes of vanilla cream and almond pistachio, base notes of vanilla bean and sugar. This to me, ooh, this is good. This is such a good pistachio fragrance. You get a little bit of the tartness of a cranberry in here, but this candle, when it is burning, oh my goodness. If those of you who love pistachio almond type of fragrances, this is a really, really good one. The way that they do this, it's even better. It's similar pistachio as to like how Bath and Body Works does pistachio. Oh, I love it. It's more of like that, like almond, but how it's balanced out with the cranberry. It's so good. I hope that they bring this one back again next fall. Again, not pistachio, Caramel Sundays, how they do a lot of their drops. They do drops every month. Sometimes they restock. Previous favorites, sometimes they don't. But I do hope that they bring this candle back because this is just a wonderful, wonderful fragrance. Back to my ranking here. We are at the top 5. Coming in at number 5, and I can't even believe that this candle is at number 5. Honestly, you guys, these top 5, you could probably intermingle all of them, and I would be pleased as punch with any of them. Coming in at number 5 is an Easter release from KRINGLE Candle, and it is Lemon Sugar Marshmallow. Now, I think I went through like 2 of like the little ones. I already went through a full-sized one. I made sure that I bought a backup. Haven't even burned it yet for this next season. This has fragrance notes. It doesn't have listed here, but okay. Lemon Sugar Marshmallow. This is very tart lemon, very similar to the lemon note that you would get in the Bath and Body Works Limoncello. Very in-your-face lemon. But there's like a gooey undertone to that, which would indicate marshmallow. It's just a beautiful lemon gourmand. It doesn't really smell like a peep. It's because it's not like super sugary to my nose. It almost reminds me of like a lemon curd mixed with a marshmallow. That's what it smells like to me. There's no cake note like limoncello cupcake from HOMEWORX. It's not like that. Oh, it is just so good. And the performance I had from this candle last year was really, really strong for me, which is why, again, I did make sure that I bought a backup. Oh, but I love this fragrance. I'm getting excited to burn this one because I know that I'm probably going to start burning this. Probably, I would say like late January, early February. The time is coming where I will be burning that one again. So that was number 5. Another candle that I kick myself that I did not buy a backup of it when I had the opportunity to, and I'm hoping that KRINGLE will bring it back for this spring, was another Easter candle in the country candle lineup. It was in like a painted jar, and that would be carrot cake. Now that candle to me was the perfect spice cake fragrance. It had a little bit of that cream cheese frosting accord in the background. If you caught my HOMEWORX haul video that I did last week, I mentioned that I did pick up their carrot cake fragrance, and on Cold Sniff I said that fragrance was the in-between between Country Candle's carrot cake was definitely spice cake with cream cheese frosting in the background. The Bath and Body Works version is more cream cheese frosting forward with spice cake in the background. The HOMEWORX version so far on Cold Sniff smells like it's going to be the baby in between. But I love a good spice cake fragrance. In fact, you're going to see another candle in here that has that type of accord in it. But carrot cake was a really good performer for me in terms of strength and throw. I do remember the wicks getting a little wonky in the middle, which we do know that the spring country candles did have that issue. I do believe that KRINGLE has corrected that. But yeah, I think that was the reason why I didn't buy a backup, but I am hoping that they will re-release that fragrance for this spring, maybe make it part of like the KRINGLE lineup, because that fragrance was off the walls, such a good spice cake fragrance, and I really loved it. You're going to see here that the thing that the top 5 fragrances have in common is that they are all gourmands. Coming in at number 3 was HOMEWORX's Key Lime Cake. Again, another fragrance that was just done so well. That fragrance to me smelled very similar to Yankee Candle's Vanilla Lime, but it also blended the way that Harry Slatkin does his gourmand so well. It blended that cake accord. You got a little bit of that light, fluffy, kind of like a vanilla cake mixed in with the key lime accord in there. So beautifully done. I did have a duo of it from QVC, but they did run out of stock before I was able to get my hands on another one. Trust me, if there was another set that would have been available, I would have snatched it up very quickly because that fragrance was so yummy, so delicious, and I am hoping that HOMEWORX will bring it back. Coming in at number 2 is a Bath & Body Works candle that I'm so glad that I made sure that I bought a backup of, and I've held on to it for this year. It is Hummingbird Tea Cake. This is another fragrance that I hope that they bring back. Fragrance notes on here are pineapple cake batter, cinnamon spice, and toasted pecans. This to me, I remembered mentioning, this fragrance to me smells like the spice cake accord that is used in their carrot cake candle. You don't get the cream cheese frosting. Instead of the cream cheese frosting in this, I get a slight nuttiness of pecan in here. Not really. What I get is a little hint. They're saying pineapple, but I'm smelling, it's like a mix of pineapple and banana together. It's not overly pineapple heavy, but it's not Laffy Taffy banana either. I can't determine. It smells a little bit more like banana to my nose, like a banana pineapple combo. But I loved this fragrance, and I think I went through 2 of them last year. It burned really well for me, so I did make sure I bought another one. I'm hoping I don't regret only purchasing one backup. I hope they bring it back because this candle was a standout winner for me last year. I do enjoy pairing this with a lot of other candles. If you have KRINGLE candles, Fruit and Flakes, or their Sugared Diamonds, it pairs nicely. It pairs really nicely with Country Candles Banana Bread. Just a wonderful fragrance for me. So we are at the number 1 fragrance of 2024. Can you take any guesses as to what it might be? You might have to go a little bit further back in the vault. I'm going to give you a hint. It was a release from earlier in 2024. This candle came into my collection in February. It was part of a spring and summer release. There's your hint. Take a moment, make a guess in the comments. The number 1 fragrance of 2024 for me, this might surprise some of you, is ice cream sandwiches. Oh man, the fragrance notes are not listed on the bottom of this. How is that? Okay, so I have this in a 3-wick. I purposely pulled out the 2-wick because I thought, the aesthetics are a little bit better. This candle, you guys, this is my childhood summers at the beach, getting a treat wrapped up in a candle. This one burns so nicely. So first off, what I smell in this candle is I smell creaminess. I smell toasted coconut, not like sunscreen coconut. I smell toasted coconut. I get a hint of chocolate, but it's more of like a dark chocolate. It's not like a milk chocolate. I get a little bit of nuttiness in here, like a macadamia type of nut. Oh, it is just so good. It performed well for me. And this fragrance blended so well with a lot of banana fragrances. If you happen, my favorite combo was actually this one with Bananas Foster. Now, the Bananas Foster I had was in the 3-wick, and that burned really hot, and I had to limit the burn time on it because the caramelized note can come across a little bit burned. Although I did hear from a lot of you who have it in the 2-wick that fragrance is a little bit less intense. So I might purchase the Bananas Foster to burn with this. However, I do still have some banana fragrances in my collection that I think this pairs nicely with, like HOMEWORX's Banana Daiquiri. This candle, it was just so good. Such a good performer. And like I said, I have this in the full, the full 2-wick here. I still have a 3-wick in there. I could see myself wanting another one because this is just such a classic summer staple. But like I said, you guys, the top 5, really all 20 of these are all fragrances that I would repurchase. The only reason I didn't repurchase some of them was because I had performance issues with a couple of them. But otherwise, if the performance was good, I did go ahead and buy backups of it. The only one I'm kicking myself was that I didn't get the carrot cake. But please, Nick Kittredge, please bring that one back this year for the springtime. So please, again, hit thumbs up if you found this video enjoyable or helpful. I would be curious to know. I asked you in my worst one to comment your 3 worst candles, but in this video, would you like to comment if you just think off the top of your head? What were your maybe top 5, top 3 candles of the year? I would be curious to hear what they were for you. So lots of fun. This was a lot of fun for me to put together this list. We do have New Year's coming up soon. I do hope to get my empties and my candle collection series update for you guys this week. I know that this week is kind of like, I always say it's like the most like, I don't want to say pointless. That's not a good word, but it's like the most chill week of the year in my house. My husband takes this week off. My kids are home for Christmas break. We're all just kind of chilling around the house that week between Christmas and New Year's. So I hope that this video you found entertaining and helpful, maybe just keeping you, keeping you some company. I hope that you are getting some rest this week as well. So I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.